Something in Keith Urban's face has changed. The same man whose grin once carried entire arenas now looks like he's smiling through static. Cameras still flash, headlines still praise the dream marriage, but behind those choreographed moments, the warmth is gone. People whisper that the sparkle died somewhere between the luxury sponsorships and the rehearsed couple posts. Was this ever real love, or just another Hollywood contract dressed up in lace? Years ago, Keith was every magazine's idea of humble brilliance. That soft-spoken Australian musician who strummed hope into ballads, who looked at Nicole Kidman like she was sunlight made human. Together, they felt effortless. No filters, no slogans, just two people glowing in the same rhythm. Back then, you could see joy on his face before he even said a word. But fast forward to the glossy present, and the man once called the heart of country music looks like he's fading under studio lighting. Insiders whisper that the unraveling began when Maggie Baugh appeared, young, polished, and born for the algorithm. The tabloids crowned her the digital Cinderella, a social media darling who turned every glance into engagement. To Keith, used to quiet studios and small circles, her world of filters and brand tags felt like walking into a hurricane made of ring lights. People close to him say he was drawn to her energy at first. It was new, loud, and addictive. But not all light warms, some blinds. One Beverly Hills event planner, speaking on Background, described the couple's now infamous wedding as a commercial disguised as a ceremony. Every bouquet was color-matched to sponsors, every guest list curated for influence. Drones circled overhead capturing spontaneous laughter, all pre-approved before release. The price tag, rumored at $76 million, read more like a film budget than a love story. According to whispers, Maggie even hired a smile consultant, so Keith's expressions would align with the luxury aesthetic. Imagine being coached on how to look in love. The fairy tale sheen cracked faster than anyone expected. Early 2023 brought the first public red flag when fans spotted Keith at an art gala looking detached, scrolling his phone while Maggie posed with investors. Social media caught it instantly. With Nicole, peace. With Maggie, hostage energy. The meme went viral overnight. Behind closed doors, friends claimed Keith struggled with her obsession for optics, scheduled paparazzi walks, casual photo shoots, and captions timed to maximize engagement. An old bandmate joked, he used to write songs. Now he writes hashtags. By spring, the difference between affection and advertisement had blurred completely. Maggie's influencer circle opened doors to billionaires and lifestyle conglomerates, but Keith found himself reduced to a +1 in his own career. At one high-profile fundraiser in Malibu, witnesses said she kept nudging him to smile bigger whenever cameras turned. His polite grin couldn't hide the exhaustion. Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman remained silent. No statements, no shade, just quiet grace. Yet fans noticed a haunting symmetry. Every time Keith appeared in photos with his new wife, old images of him with Nicole trended again. It was as though the internet missed the version of him that laughed without direction. People close to the singer began to notice deeper withdrawal. The man who once said music was his therapy had stopped attending jam sessions, skipped birthdays, and kept his phone on silent for days. When interviewers asked how marriage life was, his stock answer, "It's a learning experience," sounded like someone reciting lines from a manual. Insiders read it differently. A man studying for a test he never signed up to take. By late 2023, the illusion was impossible to maintain. Friends described Keith as overbooked and underjoyed. His days revolved around press obligations and photo ops. Maggie, on the other hand, thrived, signing brand deals, attending every fashion week, turning their relationship into a content calendar. Behind the ring light, his glow dimmed. The shift in his art said everything. Gone were the heartfelt confessions. In came auto-tuned choruses and slogan lyrics. When his single Golden Mirage dropped, longtime fans were stunned. "This sounds like a perfume commercial," one tweet read. The song stalled on charts, his lowest in a decade. Anonymous label sources whispered that Maggie had sent creative notes herself, urging youthful, viral energy. Translation: less soul, more streams. Around the same time, online leaks hinted at his emotional breaking point. Screenshots surfaced, unverified but devastating, of messages allegedly from Keith admitting, "Sometimes I smile because it's easier than explaining why I'm sad." The public didn't need confirmation. They already believed it. Hashtags like Dar Free Keith and Bog Bring Back. The smile trended for weeks. Trying to shift focus, Maggie hosted a grand charity gala for mental health awareness, costing over $1 million. It backfired spectacularly. Commenters flooded her posts. "He looks mentally kidnapped and you're throwing parties for awareness?" The optics were brutal. Through it all, Nicole Kidman once again became the quiet contrast. She appeared at premieres radiant, relaxed, and untouched by drama. One viral caption summed up the internet's sentiment: "Nicole glows because she healed. Keith smiles because he has to." By early 2024, even financial insiders started talking. That $76 million wedding had strings attached: sponsorship tie-ins, jewelry collaborations, champagne endorsements. Every toast had been a commercial. A source from Beverly Hills finance circles hinted that more than $20 million of the costs came from co-branding deals, some allegedly collateralized by Keith's own estate. Fans called it the most expensive ad campaign ever made. Inside his camp, things grew quieter and darker. Keith reportedly retreated to his Nashville property to write, but one staffer claimed he just sat by the lake in silence for hours. He wasn't there to record. He was there to remember himself, the source said. Rumors of separation followed, dismissed publicly as creative breaks. Still, the pattern was visible, her posting luxury retreats and him avoiding cameras altogether. By mid-year, magazines speculated about emotional distance, while paparazzi shots showed Keith thinner, tired, yet somehow more real without the performance smile. That's when whispers of internal tension spilled into industry gossip. Production assistants claimed Maggie managed everything: his wardrobe, his schedule, even his travel. He moved like a guest in his own career. People began using a new phrase: married to management. The cracks widened. Brand partners quietly reevaluated contracts, fearing overexposure. The once golden couple began to appear less like aspirational icons and more like cautionary tales of monetized affection. Behind the scenes, Keith Urban was reportedly facing sleepless nights, replaying the timeline of choices that turned genuine love into curated tragedy. And while the world debated who to blame, the truth was simpler. Somewhere between fame and fantasy, a man who once wrote about healing forgot how to heal himself. By the summer of 2024, the shine was officially gone. The same cameras that once worshipped Keith Urban and Maggie BA now zoomed in on cracks the size of their wedding budget. Every photo felt staged, every interview stiff. The world wasn't watching a romance anymore. It was watching an unraveling in designer clothing. Then came the leaks. Anonymous insiders claimed that Maggie had used joint assets to secure her luxury sponsorships, jewelry lines, fragrance launches, even a champagne deal, all tied back to money traced to Keith's estate. Fans were stunned. Had he really funded the empire that was destroying his peace? The story spread faster than any press release ever could. The real explosion came when a former stylist dropped a 14-minute voice note on a gossip page. In her words, Maggie controlled everything, from the shade of his suits to the tilt of his smile. "He doesn't dress himself," she said. "He just shows up." That single leak turned the internet against the fairy tale. Hashtags like "Touch Her Marriage" or "Management" and "Save Keith" flooded timelines. People saw the sadness in his eyes and started calling him the man branded by love. Days later, a paparazzi shot sealed the narrative. Keith alone in a Tennessee diner, hoodie up, coffee in hand. The caption read, $76 million wedding, 6 breakfast. It broke hearts. The photo wasn't glamorous, it was human. A quiet moment that said everything fame had stolen. Behind the scenes, lawyers were already in motion. Sources whispered that Keith had begun separating finances and reviewing every contract tied to Maggie's deals. One insider called it a cleanup after a 5-year illusion. But there was nothing clean about it. The same sponsors who once funded their dream life were quietly backing away. PR agencies called it brand fatigue, others called it karma. Meanwhile, Maggie tried to hold the spotlight together. She went on a podcast, tearfully denying manipulation rumors, insisting, "Our love is real." But the internet wasn't buying the tears. Not when the lighting looked professional and the backdrop screamed luxury. Comments poured in. Even her heartbreak has a filter. Then came the moment that changed everything. During a live, televised tribute that December, Keith tried to sing one of his old love songs. Halfway through, his voice cracked. He stopped, staring into the crowd before whispering, "Some memories aren't meant for the spotlight." It lasted only a few seconds, but it felt like the truth finally escaped. Viewers clipped it, slowed it down, set it to piano music. TikTok renamed it "The Last Honest Note." Millions replayed it, not for gossip, but for the heartbreak of seeing a man realize how far he'd drifted from himself. A week later, leaked emails surfaced from Maggie's PR agency. They discussed reputation redirection and philanthropy-based recovery, meaning she planned to use charity events to clean her image. The revelation backfired instantly. It confirmed what people already suspected. Even her remorse was a campaign. And then everything went silent. No new posts, no joint appearances. Just a blurry airport photo in January 2025. Keith Urban, hoodie up, guitar case over his shoulder, walking alone. No ring, no team, no smile. That image, unfiltered, unguarded, went viral within hours. It wasn't a scandal anymore. It was liberation caught mid-stride. Those close to him say he's back in Nashville now, spending long hours in the studio. Not recording hits, just playing. Writing songs no label has heard. One friend told a magazine, he's remembering why he fell in love with sound, not fame. Another added, he's healing in the silence he used to run from. As for Maggie, her empire is shrinking. Brand deals paused, agencies distanced themselves, and her follower count quietly froze. The same industry that built her image is now pretending it never knew her name. What once looked like a golden couple now feels like a cautionary tale told in hashtags and high heels. Because that's what Hollywood does best. It sells perfection until the seams show. Keith Urban didn't just lose a marriage, he lost the permission to be real. Every smile had become an ad, every dinner a shoot, every song a marketing tool. When the applause faded, he finally saw what was left. Silence, solitude, and the faint echo of his own music. A fan recently posted an old photo of Keith and Nicole Kidman, captioned, "This smile was real." It hit millions of likes, not out of nostalgia, but recognition. People could see the difference between happiness and performance, between connection and content. Maybe that's the real ending. Not tragedy, not revenge, just a man stepping out of the performance he never auditioned for. The glitter is gone, the mask is cracked, and what remains is something rarer than fame: peace. Because in the end, Keith Urban didn't stop smiling because the cameras stopped flashing. He stopped because he finally realized he doesn't need them to.